Have this pose. Welcome.
Hello. Kill the music. It's not about music, it's about us.
Listen to me.
Listen to us. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Josh, aka Jay Frosty. With me, as always, in the panel below is my brother Matt, aka Technique, giving his strongman pose.
Try new poses.
Yeah, you know, think it'll make you a better gamer,
Mix
better
it up.
podcaster.
Yeah, just blood flow is going in the upper extremities now, so it'll go to the brain, make me talk better, sound better.
I see what you mean.
Just come up with great ideas, big brain ideas.
Big, massive brain ideas. We are the W Key Podcast. I'm sure you guys know that by now. If there's new listeners, welcome. This is our little show we like to put on every other week. We also record it and release it as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. So if you're a podcast listener, so you're just dipping in, you're like, oh man, I gotta go. I can't stay for this whole awesome show. Like that rhyme there. You can find it on any podcast platform, really. We're pretty much everywhere. So search up the old W Key Podcast in your podcast app, and I'm sure you'll find us. So speaking of the podcast itself, I'm going to get all the minutia out of the way first. We always always go through this every week, or every other week. So if you guys are longtime listeners, you'll probably know exactly what I'm going to say word for word. Hitting, the subscribe button helps us greatly on obviously our Twitch and our YouTube. But if you're listening in podcast form, rating, reviewing, sharing with friends and family, that helps us out a lot too. We always suggest you go to podchaser.com, find us there, leave us a rating and a review if you're that type of person. It really helps us out. Podchaser is like the IMDb of podcasts. So, giving us a rating and a review there really helps us get out in front of a lot of different eyes. Same for word of mouth as well. Like I said, if you have friends, family members who like what we're doing, or if you have friends and family members and you like what we're doing and you think they might like what we're doing, shoot them a link to our page, whether it's our Twitch, our Twitter, our YouTube, any of the podcast pages. You can share from any of those apps as well. Let them know, share the glory of WKey with them, and help us grow ever so slightly in the process. And we really appreciate it. We really do. Everyone who watches with us, everyone hangs out with us when we stream, everyone who listens to the show when it's released, you're the best, really. There's no other way to say it. We love you guys. We really appreciate it. And thanks for supporting us, and keep it up. That's what we like to see. Yeah, now that we got all that dumb shit out of the way.
Ain't dumb.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Needed.
It's needed, but it's like, hey, go leave us a rating and a review. I don't know.
What you should do is just record it. That can be used generically, so you can just have it ready to go for all episodes.
Yeah. I should. That
time.
is, hey, 33 episodes in, and I think we're on to something. I think we're gonna figure it out.
Finally got it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big week.
It's go time.
It is go time. The official release of the Xbox One or Xbox Series X is tomorrow, and then PS5 comes out on the 12th. So it is the week.
So like I don't really feel super hyped because I don't know if stores are gonna have stock. Like I didn't pre-order a PS5; it was sold out in milliseconds, and I don't feel like they're gonna have stock anywhere. So I don't know I don't know when or where I'm gonna get mine. So I'm not really that hyped because I thought some stuff might be available on the day, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen. So
yeah, it's an interesting situation. I mean, did you see Courage just tweet at all?
No,
today he tweeted. I mean, he probably tweeted a few things, but he tweeted something to the effect that he pre-ordered the PS5 through Target like months ago. Never got I don't think he ever got a confirmation, and it never charged his card at the time of pre-order. And then literally like today, he got a $500 charge from a Target in like Wisconsin. And so his obviously his like bank management team and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And it ended up being his PS5, but like he didn't really give a ton of background on why he did it, but it sounds like he canceled the order and canceled the card because it's like, why was Target buying it in Wisconsin? I don't know. I mean, man, like, I don't know why it would come through as like, usually when you buy something online, it just says like Target, like online, target.com.
Yeah, and
it doesn't actually show, the specific location. So I don't know if there's a little funny business going on. Like, did a Target like manager have to buy it from another Target and then they're going to ship it to him out in LA?
Yeah. I would not be surprised if some stores like, oh shit, we're out of stock. We got to get some. And they started trying to buy from other places.
Yeah. So either way, that I kind of got a chuckle out of that. Cause I mean, we don't really know. And like I said, I have a pretty legit source, and they're saying that, this could be a bloodbath, as far as like getting them on time, one, and maybe, if you're low on the list, towards the end of the ones who made the pre-orders, you might not even get yours. They might refund you the money, and they might say, hey, sorry, we oversold, so I'd be prepared.
I don't think it's going to go too well at all. I mean, the pre-orders didn't go good.
Yeah.
That was just a shit show in itself. So I can only imagine the actual day of is going to be just as bad. So,
oh yeah, I saw.
Here we go.
I had a little tear come to my eye this weekend. We were home and I was scrolling Twitter at one point. And I saw a meme and it said, just think this is the last week for some people. This will be the last weekend these consoles are booted up, and it showed a picture of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One X, One X, and I was just like, oh, tear. Like, it's true. I mean, some people pre-ordered, and hopefully, those people who pre-ordered, everyone gets them. Some people, like I said, may not, but inevitably, there are going to be some people who are going to get their consoles this week. My guess is the Xbox Series X, they're not going to have as many issues. But like we talked about in the last episode, they didn't. The amount of pre-orders for the Series X wasn't nearly as large. Nearly as large as the PS5. So if they ran into pre-order issues on the Series X, then that would be a much bigger issue that Xbox didn't lead on at all about their supply chain. So for all we know, Xbox is fine, and it's really PlayStation that's kind of potentially in the clusterfuck.
Like I said, I legit, the day after the Xbox went on sale, I went to look at Best Buy for the hell of it, and that you could still pre-order one a day after, whereas the PS5 was gone in legit seconds to minutes. So I guess the Xbox I wouldn't be too concerned about. If you pre-ordered one of those or looking to get that, you should be fine with getting that. It's the more the PS5 is gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell.
So I'm not getting either right now. So, and you obviously haven't pre-ordered either.
I'm not either.
So we've got PCs. So in all reality, we're not super behind the times because a lot of the games that are being released for the next gen are going to come out on PC anyways too. Most of them.
PC has its own issues, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Coming up.
so we're sitting pretty for now. So we're not, from a hardcore gamer perspective, we're not really going to be missing out on much. I'm pretty excited for Valhalla. It looks really good. I know it's just another Assassin's Creed game, but I've been seeing more and more trailers recently for it, and I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's got some good reviews too. So
I'm into Vikings. So really,
that's also badass. Yeah. It's a good choice.
So like I said, for some, this will be, today, maybe your last time you boot up that Xbox One X or that Xbox One, because tomorrow you're getting the shiny new toy. But if it is, let us know. Let us know how they're going. If there's any issues, I want to hear about issues. Like I'm all for great news and happy and fun news. I want issues. I want to know about issues. If you guys get any, if you encounter any bugs, send them over here. I want to know about them. I like looking at things through a critical eye, and I like.
Could be the last time spiking the Xbox controller at COD, and the first time spiking the Series X controller at COD. Come up for some people.
Yep. So, with that, with this being a pretty big week, we want to do something slightly new and something I want to continue doing actually through every time we record, because there's been a lot of, gaming's been alive for a long time, and there's a lot of history behind gaming. So we're going to take a quick stroll down memory lane, and we're going to look at this week in gaming through the years. So it's pretty funny.
This week in gaming. Yeah. We're working on some riffs from our friends, and maybe get some special voices in there, but
I'd like to. I could hit a little button on the old Stream Deck. Bam!
Can hire the guy from EA Sports.
I know.
That says EA, it's in the game. Hey, can you say this week in gaming?
This week in gaming. So I think we'll start from most recent and go backwards, because the last one is pretty. It's pretty a big deal. Pretty big deal, at least for me, for my life. And the funny thing is you'll start to notice a pattern as we get going with some of these things. So there's obviously a lot of shit has happened in this week in gaming over the past 20 years. So I didn't put everything down, just disclaimer. I just kind of put the bigger stuff, things that, again, everything comes through kind of our opinion of what we like. But 8 years ago, COD Black Ops 2 was released. Black Ops 1 was fantastic. One of the better, probably I don't want to say the best campaign out of the Call of Duty series so far, but it's up there. I mean, it's like 1B maybe. I think honestly, I loved Modern Warfare 2 story.
Yeah,
So like,
that's the one that always kind of pops in my mind when I think
Yeah.
of a great one.
so there's Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops. It's kind of 1A, 1B for me, I think personally. So that's pretty cool. 9 years ago, it's crazy to think this. 9 years ago, because this game's been re-released a zillion times since then. Skyrim came out 9 years ago this week. I know, right? So here's the funny thing about this Skyrim. I was preparing for finals in college in like my junior or senior year. I can't remember exactly. Well, 9 years, almost 10 years. So it would have been like my senior year. I was preparing for finals, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to play video games at all. And it's like, I knew I was getting Skyrim because I asked for it from like dad or mom or something like that for Christmas. So I was like, all right, I know I'm going to get it. So like, just wait. Like, no, don't play it. You're not going to play anything, study for your finals. I caved, and I went out and I rented it from Redbox, and I just held on to it, and I played so much. Like, the whole studying thing went right out the window. I just was obsessed and consumed with playing Skyrim. That game was so good. Like,
I feel like the fact that they do keep remaking it is why it doesn't feel like it's so old.
Exactly.
Like, oh, new console, new Skyrim, new console, new Skyrim. So it's new, man. Oh,
yeah.
Nope,
I mean, I would
almost
say,
double digits
objectively speaking, that Oblivion's story was longer and I would say better.
And like
the DLC for Oblivion, I think, was better as well, to some extent. The campaign or the story, the main quest line for Skyrim was a little lackluster in my opinion, but the rest of the game, just the sheer size of what you could explore, everything you could do, the graphics obviously were much better compared to Oblivion. So yeah, it was big. It was a big deal. It was a big game, and like Matt said, it's been re-released on pretty much every console since then. And there's a reason why. I mean, it's one of the best games in the last decade for sure. At least, considering to me,
new one. Goddamn.
I know, right? That's the thing. We need a new one. So hopefully, with Microsoft buying them up, we'll get another Elder Scrolls here soon to flaunt around on our shiny new Series X's. 10 years ago, Black Ops. Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Black Ops was out 10 years ago. So if you haven't, or as you'll see, a lot of the releases in this week were Call of Duty. And I mean, that's just that they've always released around this time.
Baby. Yeah.
And it's been a year pretty much up until recently. It's been a game every year. So yeah, you'll see there's a few more. I mean, so it's pretty crazy to think, Black Ops 2 is great. Again, like I said, Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 are probably my top two favorite stories. And honestly, multiplayer probably too. We spent a lot of time playing Modern Warfare 2 and a lot of time playing Black Ops.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is like the multiplayer is like that's the first COD I really got into and went ape shit on that game.
So speaking of Modern Warfare 2, 11 years ago this week, Modern Warfare 2 came out. 12 years ago, Call of Duty World at War came out. So,
wait, are we missing one? What was there not a game released 9 years ago that was COD?
I was
there a year.
I was looking. So it had to have been
is that Ghost?
Modern Warfare 3 would have been in there somewhere, but it had to have either been in October or December. And that's so I was looking. I strolled through the whole week, and I couldn't. I was like, oh, because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, so there's a 12, 11, 10. I was like, there's got to be a 9 somewhere, but no, it would have been Modern Warfare 3, and it was either in October then or December. And then, I mean, same thing could be said moving forward too. I mean, you have Advanced Warfare, all those other games. I think a lot of them came out in October. But either way, so 12 years ago, World at War, big one. 14 years ago, we got the Big Daddy PS3. That thing was a monster. You had that. I remember you got that thing. That thing was a fucking beast.
Did I?
Yeah, because I remember playing Infamous and Uncharted on it.
Yeah.
So that thing, man, that was they went fat, and then they went away from the fat, and now they're going back to the chunk, basically.
I mean, I guess they got a pattern. They know what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, so they say. 16 years ago. So I saw this on Twitter actually today, and it kind of made me feel really old. 16 years ago, Halo 2 came out. Arguably, I would say one of the best Halos. You know, a lot of people like Halo 3.
So yeah, I say 2 and 3 are like the money zones for me.
Yeah, I think Halo 2's multiplayer is hands down the best. The maps I feel like were the best, and just the mechanics and everything. I spent so much time playing Halo 2. Like, I used to play until I got like headaches from my eyes being open for so long. My eyes would get like dried
I still
out.
remember we had like a massive snowstorm when I was in like high school, elementary school. And I stayed the night at Jesse's, and we had school canceled for like 2 or 3 straight days. I stayed there for all 2 or 3 days. Just we were in his room playing Halo all fucking day long. It was great.
No, it was crazy. I mean, it's just the amount of hours I put into Halo 2 is unreal. Like, just so much time spent just because it was such a good game. It was so good. 17 years ago, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. That we've talked a little bit about that one. It's crazy to think that was 17 years ago.
Sense. I do remember playing it very young.
Yeah. So, but great game. You know, I got into Prince of Persia like right there at Sands of Time 17 years ago. That's kind of what got me into this. You know, these types of games: Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, all that kind of style of game. So, and then the big daddy of them all, at least for me. 19 years ago, the Xbox and Halo were released. So that's I remember when that came out. I didn't have one right off the bat. I remember getting exposed. I say exposed like it was a disease, because I mean it kind of started like a disease. It was uncontrollable. I couldn't stop playing. But I got exposed to it at a friend's house, and we did the same thing. We were playing just Halo all night long, like whatchamacallit, co-op, like, and playing against each other, and just it was like everyone else went to bed. It had been like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still just sitting there like, oh yeah, gotta keep playing. Like,
I'm surprised I even continued playing Halo series, because the first time I was exposed to it was at Jesse's house again.
Yeah,
and we played like
got exposed a lot at Jesse's house, huh?
He just whipped my ass. I was like, I hate this fucking game. This game's so dumb. I don't know why I went back for more, but I'm glad I did. But I was so furious because he obviously knew what he was doing. It was my first time. I was like, okay, walk and jump, and he just, I'm gonna go some banshee, splat.
So that's I mean, it just blows my mind that it's been 20 years, more or less, since Halo and the Xbox came out. Yeah, I mean, so that's a little look back on the history books of gaming for this week, basically today through the 15th, throughout the years. Been a lot of big things. I mean, you look at this, I mean, Xbox and Halo. Halo is all-time Hall of Fame game. Halo 2, all-time Hall of Fame game. Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Skyrim, all-time like Hall of Fame games, essentially. Like, been a lot of big games released in November. Obviously, I would say it's not too much of a shocker. Holiday season, it's when you always get your best stuff, like, for sure. But the fact of the matter that they've hit on something pretty much every year, every other year, and they've had something that impactful kind of in the gaming world. You know, it shows there was a lot of good development, a lot of good people behind the scenes of these games, a lot of good people making games throughout the years. And, you know,
hope for more.
To them, we say thank you.
Keep it going.
I know, because like that's like so much time of my life, so many memories just on this one little list that I'm just like, man, there's a lot there. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. This week in gaming, something like that. That's kind of what I want, you know.
I mean, that seems doable, easy enough. That'd be a voice mod somewhere for that.
Yeah. So So we'll jump in. I mean, there's some stuff happening. Obviously, the big stuff, like we mentioned, is the consoles. Consoles are coming out this week. We've kind of beat those horses to death with our last like 3 episodes.
At this point in time, it's kind of, I feel like we said as much as we can say.
Yeah,
It's just now
basically
let them release and see performance firsthand. People will have with them and whatnot.
See where the chips settle. See where everything lies. Obviously, it's going to take time for us to really kind of determine a winner of this generation console war. Which in all reality, it's gamers. I mean, we're all gamers. We're all playing the same stuff. Everything's getting closer and closer in performance. So, I mean, realistically, in my mind, gamers are the winners, not necessarily any individual console, but there'll still be a bunch of those idiots out there that want to segregate everybody into camps, and they're going to be like, PlayStation 5 won it. No, Xbox won it. So, to those idiots, I say, go away. Like, I don't
just
like you.
Have fun playing what you have.
Exactly.
Let me have fun playing what I have.
I think we mentioned it, you know, this topic, you know, we talked a little bit about it. We kind of glazed over it.
I was trying to, I went through past outlines and I didn't see it written anywhere, but I definitely remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we just said on the podcast or we just talked about it. I remember you telling me about.
No, we did talk about it last episode.
Was it last episode?
Yeah, I just didn't put it. I didn't put it on the outline. I just kind of came up into it. So yeah, I mean, it's Doc's ban. I mean, from Twitch, we put it on the outline because we kind of both remember that we talked about it to an extent, but I
didn't know how much time we actually gave to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we hit it pretty good.
Yeah.
To an extent. I mean, I just, you know, there's, and this is like not just Doc only, but you know, there's a lot of things Twitch wise right now. There's a lot of I don't want to say problems, but like I feel like they're instituting a lot of different things. I mean, Twitch is very in flux right now. You know what I mean? Like there's all this DMCA shit.
Kind of really up in the air.
There's a lot of issues with, like, I mean, they're pumping the ads out like crazy on people. And you mentioned over the weekend that Amazon told Twitch that they need to up their ad revenue by like 50%.
Revenue or something like that. Yeah.
So
which that's not gonna be good. That's gonna
get prepared to see more ads is really all we can say. So I mean, so there's that, like a lot of it kind of all seems like it's trending in like, hey, Twitch wants more money and more of a money grab thing, which is interesting, I guess. But at the same time, you know, supposedly, you know, Doc claimed, and like I said, if you watch our episode last week, then you obviously are aware of what this is and what this topic is about. But I mean, Doc claims inadvertently or not inadvertently through a story that's sounds awfully specific for the story that he was telling. And if you read between the lines, you basically get the idea that Twitch canned him on purpose to be able to pay Ninja, Shroud, and if you remember at the time, Logic had just gotten signed as well. So basically, Doc's contract was too big. They felt, you know, he either wasn't right for the platform as far as being a keystone centerpiece, or he just wasn't worth the money moving forward. So they made up some reason that he breached contract or breached terms of service, made up a fake reason, canned him, left everyone hanging, and has left everyone hanging.
Like we never even heard like their official.
No, I mean there hasn't been anything. I mean, realistically, at this time, there's nothing on either side.
How can you come up with this fake ass excuse and we don't even know what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they don't want it out, because if like when it finally gets out, people are gonna think, wow, that's
and so that's the thing.
That's what you banned him for.
It may not ever come out because if Doc and his lawyers, if this actually happened and Doc and his lawyers settle with Twitch, without going to court, with actually going to public court, and they settle in like mediation or whatever the hell it's called. My guess is Twitch will probably put in a stipulation like, hey, we'll settle, we'll give you X amount of dollars, we'll settle it, we'll call it good, you know, damages, reparations, whatever you want to call it, but you can't ever disclose the reason for the ban.
Yeah.
So unless he wants to be a massive dick, and he knows, well, not be a dick, but just unless he wants to be Doc, because obviously Doc's a persona. If he wants to be that to the fullest, I feel like he would fight it all the way, tooth and nail, bring it to the courts, make it public, let everybody see Twitch with egg on their face. But his team and Guy, the actual guy behind Doc, you know, if it's a sure money thing, like, hey, they're going to give you like $30 million to shut up, and like, that's a hard thing to pass up, obviously. So,
but I feel like he's got integrity and would.
That's where I would hope the Doc persona would take the driver's seat and be like, all right, let's bring these fuckers all the way.
Because I feel like he always had Twitch's back. He never really spoke bad. Anytime he's bashing people, he's bashing the two people they brought back, Ninja and Shroud. He would always bash them for leaving to go to Mixer because Mixer had no viewers. So
he would say, if you want to be a streamer, Twitch is the place to do it.
Yeah, I feel like he was always loyal to them, and then they just pull the rug out from underneath him. Yeah. So I feel like he deserves to shed the light on what happened, and he should, and he probably will do it, because I mean, I think Shroud, Ninja, and Logic combined aren't as entertaining as the Doc. So I just feel like they're missing out and made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really much more necessarily that can be said about the topic, obviously, because
I just want to say, like, Twitch can be an asshole and ban him for no reason because they want more money, but stop being an asshole and in preventing him from playing with other Twitch streamers. Everyone is complaining that they miss him, that they want to play with him, and he's not allowed to play with them.
If Twitch is the reason,
was banned for, they want to act like an actual legit reason. It's like, no, you can't have him on our channel because he was banned because he did bad things. But it seems like he didn't do anything wrong. You just want to can him because you want more money. Do that asshole move, but don't continue your assholeness and keeping him away from playing with his friends. They're his friends, and you can't play with them.
I mean, I feel the exact same way. If the ban was truly just fiction and Twitch made it up, they need to pull that back. And, you know, and this may happen. Like I said, again, this may not be a part of settling out of court.
Yeah, it could
that
be
would be something Doc would.
I'll be quiet. You let me be on your.
That would be something Doc
website.
Would probably push for, just because not that he hasn't found other people to play with, but I mean, let's be honest, when he's playing with like Mercs and Tim and Cloaksy, like, that's the best. Like, that's when.
No, I will say
Doc
though, Z-Laner from Facebook, that man is hilarious. I like him a lot. He was a good fun. It's cool that he found
Sean
him
watches Z-Laner a ton. So
no,
he's good. He's a good personality, and he's fucking great at the game too. So.
Controller player, just cracking people. But
things. So I think I would hope at least that would, if they did do that route, that, you know, Twitch would get their dig, you know, don't ever release it publicly, and then Doc would also get his little dig in, like, all right, let me play with my, you know, let me be on the platform, you know. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, if that happens, I think all of us will kind of know that was the issue, or that was the reason the ban happened.
You know how Doc is. Even if he agreed that he won't tell the reason, he'll come up with a way to say it without directly saying it. Like, hey, I didn't say it, man.
I mean, yeah, but then that would open him up to another legal battle where they could potentially sue him for the amount of money they gave him. So I would probably shut my mouth if I got my way. If I got the ability to play with other people on Twitch again, you know, and you got the third, you know, a big bag of cash payout, I would just say, all right, fuck it. I'm just.
So I will say, you know, not being able to have the pool of people to play with that he normally had, it hasn't affected his numbers at all. All they do is rocking at like 30, 35, 40 people over on YouTube. Like, the Champions Club is very committed. That's what it says. And they followed him over, man. They followed him over there. It's good to see. Yeah, they followed him over. It's good to see that he still has the numbers and suffered from the lack of, I guess, I want to say talent to play with, because he plays with plenty of good people, but it's just, I guess, house-known talent.
Talent in game is different than broadcast talent. So he plays with a lot of people that are good in game. Yeah, might not be the best talent broadcasting and performance-wise, you know. So, but like I said, either way, if it comes to the point, if one day magically him and Tim and Nick are playing again, and just like, hey, we can play together again, like, all of us will secretly know that was the issue. That
Said,
Twitch
you
was a dick.
heard
We're a
it
bunch
here.
of dicks. Canned him. He got his money from them in the long run, and he got the ability to play with his friends again. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. It's been obviously it's been going on for a while. So
Probably, yeah. So you probably won't hear anything soon,
yeah,
if ever. But
yeah, just have to keep an eye out
speculating
for when he starts playing with Twitch streamers again.
then
That'll be
there'll be something to talk
the
about.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So big week console wise, but it's also a big time for PlayStation. It's also a big time for PlayStation. It's also a big time for PCs. So
Yes.
Ryzen 5000 series just dropped recently. And as you can imagine, in this pandemic-stricken world, they all flew off the shelves, and the ones that are being sold now are being sold for like 4 times the price of what they normally are.
Like Newegg's trying to sell them from Hong Kong for like $800.
Yeah.
Like, nah. I want it, but I'll wait.
Yeah. Same thing with the 3070s.
I've seen double the prices come from Hong Kong from over there. But yeah, so console users, you're not the only one stricken by lack of supply. I wanted a 3070 and I want to get a Ryzen. I haven't gotten it either because they were gone like that. Even though the Ryzens I had, they were there for longer. I kind of hesitated because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with it or maybe go Intel. And when I kind of finally made up my mind, they're all sold out, unfortunately. So AMD says that they'll have a regular stock in January 2021. So hopefully that doesn't mean we don't have anything until then, but sounds like January is when you'll be able to get back to normalcy with buying processors.
Yeah. So I mean, on paper, I've looked them up a little bit. I'm not a processor guru by any means, but on paper, they look great. I mean, I have a 3000 series.
I should have just pulled the trigger. They are great stuff. But
and like my 3700X, or I think that's what I have. Thing kills. I mean, I haven't noticed. Actually, well, I've noticed benefits in gaming over my 7700K, but I mean, the 7700K was a pretty old CPU at that point. Basically my big problem with the 7700K was after I'd played like COD, for example, for 2-3 hours, it would start stuttering, like micro stuttering pretty hard at random times. I haven't had
that's what they're selling it on
that.
too, is that these are like the best things ever for gaming. So along with it's great multitasking for if you're a content creator, you're looking to edit videos and make thumbnails and this and that, it'll be able to cover all that. Whereas Intel doesn't really quite have the power to do the multimedia stuff. It'll be good for gaming, but it can't do the other things outside of that.
Intel's always as games are getting more sophisticated and they are able to build the games to maximize multi-core usage, Ryzen chips are going to become better and better and better for gaming. The biggest the advantage that Intel's always had for the longest time is that their single core performance was unbeatable, and games were built to really rely on single core performance and not so much on multi-core, multi-threaded processors. So obviously the 7700K is four processors. If you look at the processing load, like all 4 of them are mostly used, but really the most of it relies on the single core processing power, and that's why Intel was always so great. But like I said, as games have developed and they're using the multi-cores and multi-threads better, more efficiently, the Ryzens are going to be becoming much better. And I mean, my 3700X is noticeably better than my 7700K.
It's looking like Big Red is overtaking Big Blue
because they
processor games. So
they run cooler, generally speaking. Mine has considerably cooler. The TDP the total power drop, TPD, whatever the fucking term is, or TDW or whatever the hell it is. Total power requirement is less with every Zen processor, even the top Big Daddy ones. It's all less than Intel's total power requirements. The architecture's smaller too. I was looking at the 5000.
Is that what the
7 nanometer?
Is that
Yeah.
like size? Is that what it
Yeah,
means
so
by
they're able to
architecture?
fit more
Alright.
capacitors.
Yeah, the
into the
Intel's
same
is
space.
14.
Yeah,
Intel's 14 nanometers, so it's half of it.
yeah. So they're able to fit more. In theory, they can fit more capacitors, which would make for quicker performance with more capacitors and stuff like that. And yeah, they're for a content creator, the Ryzens are like kind of a no-brainer because of the power you have with video editing.
Yeah.
Your rendering time's so much faster. You know, if you're editing like podcasts like we do, same idea, the editing, the saving, the rendering of the files, the large files when you're done all your editing process is so much faster on a Ryzen. The only thing I would say that's a negative about the 5000 series, Ryzens were always cheaper. Every step is more expensive.
What I was gonna say.
Yeah, every step is more expensive this year around, or this series, the 5000
That's
series,
like the
than
one
the competitor
that,
for the Intel.
Yeah, it's the one thing that always kind of would draw me. Like, okay, I could get the Intel, or I could get this Ryzen that basically has either the same performance or just like a bar underneath for, you know, $70 to $100 cheaper. Now it's all right. The Ryzens are on par, if not better, and their price tag is showing it, which you would expect.
But the one thing I will tell you, or the one counterpoint to that, you don't need a new motherboard. Like the AM4,
I do. I'm going from Intel to
yes, you do. If you're going from Intel to AMD, honestly, I would go to the 3000 series. I mean, I doubt you're going to really notice the difference in performance, and that allows you to get a cheaper processor and a motherboard.
Go for it though at this point.
I mean, sure, if you have the money, why not? I guess. But if you're looking to do it on a budget, hanging a generation behind isn't really a problem. I don't feel for the Ryzen chips, especially. I mean, because like you can get 3700X and a motherboard for probably like $100, $150, maybe even $200 cheaper total than you would a 5000 series and a motherboard. And then as long as they continue to do it, that AM4 Plus motherboard will be able to support every chip moving forward. It's like I just got a new CPU like 6 months ago or something like that. You know, with these 5000 series, it's backwards compatible with my motherboard, or my motherboard is compatible with that chipset, with that new chip. Whereas like you going to Intel right now, you'd have to get a brand new motherboard and a processor, and Intel's 11th generation is right around the corner, which most people are assuming will come with yet another new motherboard socket.
No, I'm pretty sure I read that. Yeah, the socket, the 1200, whatever it is, will be compatible for their one.
Yeah, because I was reading on an article that, you know, they were saying, you know, the 11th gen CPUs are around the corner.
Absolutely ridiculous if new
it would be,
new chip, new motherboard. Hey, new chip, new motherboard. I would probably go and throttle Intel at that point in time.
Yeah, and I mean, because you're still rocking on an i5, right? 70.
Yeah, 6600K.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, like if you're gonna do it and you're gonna go balls deep and you're gonna get 5000, like I'm not gonna fault you for it, but if you go into 3700X, like what I have right now, you would notice a massive upgrade.
I mean, I was tempted. I saw Micro Center had an open box like Ryzen 9 3800 XT or something like that for like $350, which is $100
so
cheaper.
Much more horsepower than you fucking need. Though.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's $100 cheaper than the Ryzen 7 5800 XT.
That's like driving around the streets of Littleton in a fucking McLaren F1. Like you're never gonna be able to use it anywhere.
Stunting them on those hillbillies up there. Let them know.
Jesus.
Let them know.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, I mean, even the streamers that use the high end, like the Ryzen 9s or the Intel, 9 core, like they don't even need those because they're not editing their own videos. They have video editors to do it.
Oh yeah.
So literally, they have at the certain point they've hit the point of diminishing returns, and the processors and the video cards that they have are not needed, and you're going to get the same performance regardless of that, once you cross a certain threshold.
Yeah, I'm kind of toying with the idea of possibly just making a beast machine and go to a single PC stream just because
that Ryzen 9 would do that for you.
It's annoying with some things here.
And if you get a 3070,
where I kind of want to have all just one machine. It's mainly like, honestly, the capture card's a pain in the ass. If I gotta have it full screen here, and if I do, it sometimes will flicker out and won't work. I can't play it in full screen borderless because it runs weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I feel like removing the capture card would just make things so much easier. So I kind of want to make a boss single PC and just go back to that.
Yeah, I mean that 39.
Oh yeah, trust me.
That
I know,
Ryzen
that's
9 will fucking do it for you.
oh yeah, oh yeah, I know that. I know that.
And if you got a 3070, you would be able to use the new, the newer encoding architecture, so it would take a lot off your PC. I mean, Harris Heller, yet again another Alpha Gaming plug here
These
on
times,
the podcast.
It's like you say Bloody Mary 3 times, she comes to you. Say Harris Heller 3 times, she comes to you. Oh, you guys want to do an interview?
Yeah, they've been doing. His channel and the guys on his channel have been doing a lot of like budget PC builds to get great, to get good streaming at the average setting that most people who are not partnered will be able to use and maintain high FPS in game. And like the Ryzens are just slapping Intel.
Oh yeah, that's the way to go. 110%.
Yeah,
it's just which one do you need?
Yeah, exactly. So 5,000s are out. Good luck.
Can't get them.
Yeah, I was like, good luck getting a hold of one. But yeah, I mean, they look promising. Everything I've seen, pretty much every game that they chose to show for stats has a bonus, is a plus certain amount of percentage better on the Ryzens than they are on the Intel 10s.
Yeah.
And there's like one game that's like even, which was weird. Another thing I like to say about that is they always choose the weirdest games to basically map. Like here, I actually have the slides open. They choose League of Legends, like, okay, plus 21%, great. They have PUBG plus 5%, great. Dota 2 plus 6%. F1 2019 plus 6%.
Like the racing game?
Yeah, Battlefield 5 minus 3%. So Intel's still better. That's interesting. Total War, Three Kingdoms plus 1%. Oh boy, CS:GO, like who the fuck cares about CS? Plus 19%. Shadow of the Tomb Raider plus 6. Far Cry New Dawn plus 2. Ashes of Singularity plus 5%. So I don't know. It's interesting game choice.
Games are like, I mean, I
relevant.
Guess, they must know what they're doing. They must do something in the game, test something different.
PUBG sucks, and it's horrible and it's not optimized. So if you get a plus 5% with a Ryzen, then I mean that's pretty good, right?
I don't know why you're testing that game. That thing is.
So I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, if you can get a Ryzen 5 and you can get a 3070, I mean, you're like the god of PC gaming right now, basically.
Yeah.
So
you'd be sitting pretty.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, I saw this on the weekend, and I was stoked. I feel like we talked about this, like, what games, if you could remaster, or would you play again? I feel like we've talked about Mass Effect remaster.
We talked about that in that sense, and then we also talked about it because I'm pretty sure there were leaks, there were rumors, 4 or 5 months ago around that they were going to remaster the trilogy. So
it's happening.
It's happening.
Spring,
it looks like
2021, baby.
Yep. So Xbox One, PS4, PC. I mean,
say all the major areas.
I'm assuming it'll hit Series X and PS5 in like some sort of backwards compatible way.
I guess. I mean, like I said, when I was looking into it, it didn't say anything about those. I would assume. I know the PS4 games most of them are backwards compatible on the PS5, so I think that's all you're getting there.
So, all 3 games with the DLC, 3 new promo weapons, armors, promo weapons, armor packs, things like that. Obviously optimized for 4K, Ultra HD.
Right. All the extra goodies that were ever out.
Yeah.
All together in one.
I mean, honestly, this might be a must-have for me because those first 3 games, like I feel like I say it about a lot of games we talk about. Those are some of the best games I've ever played. But I mean, it's like with every generation, they release, every say just for Xbox, every generation of Xbox, there's probably like 500 games released, if not more, every generation. That's probably way under, honestly, that I think after I think about it, with all the indie dev studios and all the one-off games. So like on a really, really incredibly low end of the scale, like 500 games per generation. And so, I mean, and there's been we're on our fifth. Yeah, fifth. PS5. PS5, yeah. So fifth gen. I mean, so 2,000, 2,500 games on a very low end for throughout the generations of the Xbox. So realistically, I don't say it about every game, but there's a lot of games out there, and I don't say that these games are the best games to many of them, just because there hasn't really been a ton of good games out of that estimate, which, like I said, is probably admittedly low. Like maybe 2% of those games have been actually worth your time. Like, you know what I mean? So
you're pretty sure acquire. You don't need to defend your. Sure
I'm just like logically, I'm just reasoning it out in my head. Like not in my head. I'm just reasoning it out loud. And but yeah, I mean, because those three games were I put again another common term. I put a lot of time into those games. I beat the first one 100%.
Really?
One of the only games I've 100%ed.
I mean, they're ranked up there in like the IGN article I was reading. They have them. They just kind of throw it in. They have like Mass Effect 2 is ranked like 38th, and they're all-time top 100. And Mass Effect is ranked like 50 something.
Story was like.
I just remember the ending.
Hard decisions. Like if you didn't do everything 100% right, people on your crew that you had gotten from Mass Effect 1 to the end of 2, I mean, that's easily 80 hours of gameplay probably, just straight storyline. Yeah. People died. Like people you got to care about died. Like legitimately like, they're dead. And you're just like.
Run through and decisions are flying at you. You have like seconds to make a choice. You're like, wait, what? Wait, if I can't do that. And
oh, and it was like
I was just broken. I was a broken man.
And it was, and the funny thing was, it wasn't a surprise. Like literally from the get go, the Miraged Man or whatever the hell his name is, I forget what his name, the guy at the beginning. Whatever his name is. I mean, they do a really good job of kind of being like, hey, you're going on a suicide mission. I don't know how to put it to you really easily. Where I'm not going to break it to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to be a suicide mission. Pick your team. Get everyone together. Have fun. And
people even no, it's a video game.
Giving you that fact that it was going to be a suicide mission. Like I was still taken aback by like the choices you had to make, the crazy shit that happened. Like that game was good. The game was really good.
I bet you
really good.
They're coming out with this trilogy because they want to refresh everyone's memory on the game.
I hope.
You know why?
Why?
It's been announced that a Mass Effect project is in the works.
Okay.
Led by a veteran team, as they put it.
I hope that veteran team does a better job than whatever team put together Andromeda.
That game wasn't too bad.
No, I mean, as a game, it was not a bad game. As a Mass Effect game, it was not a very good Mass Effect game.
I think I'm saying this because this is my point of view I came out with. I thought I heard Mass Effect, and even I was told it's not Shepard.
Yeah.
I still think to myself, is it gonna be Shepard though somehow?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people want.
I mean, they left it open for a possibility. I mean.
Oh yeah.
So like a lot of people thought that it would be, and that's the thing. Like, but that's also a testament to the original trilogy. They built not even just the main character. They built so many good characters that you were like, I want them. Like if it's not them, it's not Mass Effect. The
character was so good, and then it just branched out from there. Like everyone you added to that person to the story was equally as good and made it equally as awesome of a game. So now you just I want that again. I understand, kudos to trying to make something new, but it's
really hard.
Such a good character and such a good world. It's hard to not go back to it, which they still can, because as people know, spoiler alert if you haven't played the games, Mass Effect 3, there's 3 endings you have to choose from, and all 3 of them lead to Shepard dying, except for one of them. It's called like the destroy ending, where you destroy the Reapers.
But
Once
you
everything,
destroy the gates too, right?
yeah,
The
destroys
mass
technology.
terminals.
Yeah, it destroyed the Reapers, destroys the things that let people like light speed jump. So you kind of go back to how we would be today, just with I guess a little bit better tech.
They still have spaceships and shit. They just
Yeah,
can't go
yeah,
light speed.
can't warp. But so in that ending, after it plays out with the same basic ending they see in the other two, there is then a final mini cutscene where it shows Shepard that looks like he's dead, but then you see his like chest taking a breath. So they left the door open for him to be alive to do more things with him. So I'm hoping, praying. Again, we have no information on this game. All we know is that it's being worked on. That's all they gave us. They gave us a picture, by a veteran team. They gave us a picture also, which I didn't see anyone picking apart with clues. So I guess the picture doesn't mean anything, or no one found what it means. So no information on it. I'm just hoping that they somehow, some way, just make it a Shepard party again, because that would, oh my god, I would love that. That game is so good. All three of them.
I mean, and like you said about Andromeda, like you gotta you praise him for trying something new, but it is really like you almost have to make the game
different title.
Well, so different title, but like if you made the trilogy, and the trilogy was knock your socks off, like one of the best trilogies in gaming, hands down in my opinion, and really on if you talk to really anybody, it's up there. You made that trilogy so good, you made all the characters so likable, and everyone became really emotionally invested and connected. Like when you make a new game that has the same name, Mass Effect, and you're going to go away from what the door that was left open, and you're going to do a whole new cast of characters, yada yada yada, that game almost has to be twice as good as the first Mass Effect to like get you over. That just makes, at that point, if it's twice as good as that first game, that really just puts you on even footing. I feel like that's that's like the equation you have to look at for a new game that comes after a trilogy that was so beloved by so many people, when you're not continuing in that trilogy really at all. Like, that's kind of how I see it.
I feel like, though, I mean, obviously you made these three games and you know what works. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to just
stick with
the same recipe, but add in the new characters that you're trying to be, but just try to stir it with the same pot, in the same pot.
I mean,
it just it didn't feel like Mass Effect to me. I played it. I didn't finish it. Maybe the game gets amazing in the end, but I just couldn't get into it like I could with the other ones. It just didn't have me like the original Mass Effects did.
Yeah, no, I feel you too. I mean, the thing about galaxy spanning games like that, there's always some threat that can be older and more dangerous than the Reapers. They made the Reapers sound like they were the oldest things in the world, but not every facet of the galaxy has been explored, and there's always someone older and badder than the previous villain. So exactly to your point, they could have kind of recycled the plot, just make it, made it different, yada yada yada, whatever you want to say. But here we are.
Quote the great Qui-Gon Jinn, "There's always bigger fish."
Yep.
Or something like that.
So new Mass Effect teased or sort of confirmed, on the way. Veteran team. Hopefully it's in the same vein as Shepard. Hopefully Shepard comes back. Hopefully it's a continuation from Mass Effect 3 in some way, shape, or form, with Shepard coming back. That'd be fun.
They probably did that little cutscene of him breathing to leave the door open. They probably wanted to end the trilogy there and want to start something new, but they're all right. Hey, let's cover our asses. Let's slide this in here in case our next project tanks, which I won't say it tanks, but it didn't do good. So that project didn't do good. All right, let's go back to Shepard because we left the door open for him, so we can't go back to him.
It's not a bad idea. It's just really roundabout way, an expensive way to get back to what you should have done the first time. It's an expensive lesson to learn.
They had faith maybe that they could do it again. They struck out, so
yeah.
Who knows?
But we'll see. I mean, I have hope. If this so-called veteran team's on the case, hopefully it pans out. So, final thing we'll kind of hit on: Cyberpunk 2077 delayed again.
Speaking of things not panning out,
no, which is crazy from a studio that is usually so good with everything, like and I get it. That's why they're delaying it. I know, yeah. And so their perfection is kind of nipping them in the ass. But at the same time, when this game comes out and there's absolutely no flaws, it runs perfectly, there's no issues, you know, the anger that it's delayed will go away instantly because the game will be a fully finished, polished product. Whereas other companies like to release fucking piles of turd with a spray gloss coating on it, saying, "Yeah, it's a finished game."
Yeah, I mean, well, just so people know, they're delaying it because they're still working on a patch for launch day. They say it's hard testing this game to. It needs to be on 9 different things.
Yeah,
it needs PC, Xbox, like this generation and next generation. It has to cover all those.
Realistically, three Xboxes in this generation. You have your original day one Xbox. You have the Xbox S, Xbox One S, and then the One X. I mean,
so there's a lot of. But see, I think like they kind of,
because the hardware is different from day one Xbox to obviously.
They obviously didn't do it to themselves. They didn't plan on it, but COVID has really backed them into a corner because this game was originally supposed to release in April.
Yeah.
No one was thinking about this game on next gen, but since it got released in April, you could get a free it's backwards compatible, so you could play the PS4 copy on the PS5. They were saying you would get a free upgrade copy to next gen maybe in 2021. Maybe is what they said. So they weren't even thinking about next gen for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But COVID,
we talked about that too.
Yeah. So with COVID and the continued delays, they kind of just got themselves backed into a corner, a rock and a hard place where all of a sudden, here we are. The game's going to be out after the next gen consoles releases. So now people are kind of, I feel like they must be feeling some pressure to, hey, we need to kind of release this on the next gen console too at the same time. That's one of the quotes a lot of people are talking about. The main quote they see is, we want this to work on all consoles. So that's what we're working on. The quote I saw from their statement I picked out, it says, since Cyberpunk 2077 evolved towards almost being a next gen title, they continue blah 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 blah. We're having trouble. So they weren't prepared for this. They didn't want to do this. They wanted to put it on this console and then down the road make it ready for next gen. But here we are. Game's not out yet. Next gen's here, and I think they're feeling the heat to just, hey, we gotta make this for next gen too.
No, I think you're right. I mean, because I think we talked about it in the episode. I think our title is the episode that we did. The title is called "Year of the Delays," I believe.
Yes.
And I mean, they came out and were very transparent that a true next gen version of this game wasn't going to be out until probably 2021. So I think that was the initial plan going through, and then exactly like you said, I think they've gotten pushed back so much because they want to make a perfect game come out that they've just inadvertently been pushed up against the release of the next gen consoles. And whether it's the higher ups at CD Projekt Red or Microsoft or even Sony, maybe someone from higher up in the consoles themselves, because they know this game's going to sell well with CD Projekt Red's reputation and the hype that it's had around it.
To make it,
they're probably like, hey, you guys got to put it in. You got to have a next gen version. So like, maybe they're trying to backwards code on the fly, getting us a true next gen game like a year and a half earlier than they really had planned on doing it.
Well, I mean, I feel like that when they say they want to make sure it runs well on all 9 platforms, I think they're not saying it directly, but I feel like the bulk of making it run well is, it's another way of saying, hey, we got to on the fly make this a next gen game right now, is what I feel they're trying to say there without obviously saying directly.
I would second that statement as well. I think that's probably the exact reason why it's being delayed so much. I mean, the first few delays were probably more pandemic related, and development.
Now they got to hear and like shit.
Yeah, which I'm surprised it hasn't happened in more games. I mean, I guess there hasn't really been any other games on this scale that have been set to release kind of in this time window. I mean, there's other big games, obviously Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty and stuff like that, but those were always going to release on both generations. Like they were we're going to put them on the PS4, the current generation and next gen. Like that's just, it is what it is. CD Projekt Red wasn't planning to do that, so
they like you said, they came out and even said, hey, this is like for this gen, we're not even really worried about next gen until maybe even next year.
Yeah.
Like that was a fat maybe. There's a possibly is what they said.
Yep.
So it could have even been 2 years until you got a next gen version of it.
True
Yeah.
next gen experience.
Yeah. And now
I mean, we might not even get a true next gen. I mean, they'll probably this probably just be a
can't be
skinned or
true.
scaled up
Yeah.
version.
there's,
I mean,
there's no way they can, if they weren't even planning on doing it for like 2 years, there's no way they can pull it out of their asses in a few months. I mean, maybe they can. If they can,
I mean,
damn, they have delayed it a lot.
I would
so
say they might have to break some labor laws, and
yeah.
it'll be
Let them
another
know how long they're
Rockstar situation where
Oh,
the
yeah.
people for Red Dead were
80
working
80-hour weeks.
Yeah. So, yeah. Who knows? I mean, there was a lot of fallout from that. So, I mean, if CD Projekt Red gets caught doing that, it's going to be a
Hope
big
it
issue.
can finally be released. I love like seeing some memes. There's like one dude who tweeted at CG Product Red saying, "Hey, this game's coming out in November, right? Because I'm gonna take work off so I can play it and this and that." And they even replied to the guy saying, "For sure,
Yeah.
that's when it's coming out." And then it got delayed again. Like, oh no,
That's fantastic.
Oh no.
Oh man. So delay. Yeah. So what's this, 4th delay?
So it was April
Then back to September, right?
I think April to September, September to November.
November to December. So 3rd.
September, November, yeah, 3rd.
Yeah. Well, either way, there's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to come out like 6 months ago. So
I say that was supposed to be out in April.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just yesterday we were talking about it. Now April seems forever ago. Imagine having this game for however many months. What's April? A lot of months. Imagine having this game under your belt for since April. Would have been a great game to play.
It would have been nice. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's gonna about do it for us. I mean, I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else rambling around the old brain ski.
All the good stuff that people need to know.
Yeah. I mean, really the big thing, it's console week. Like I said, tomorrow, Series X,
prep
the
your
12th
consoles.
is PS5. Like I said earlier in the episode, so if you're tuning in for the first time or you missed the beginning, if you are a lucky individual to get these consoles right off the bat this week and you're running into issues and bugs and certain problems, you can always call the W Key hotline. And by call, I mean send us a direct message on Twitter or Instagram. Just let us know what's happening. We want to know. I'm interested in stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'll surely be all over Twitter if there is stuff happening. But either way, engagement with the fans is always fun. So, go ahead and shoot us some messages if things are going bad. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up and get out of here. Like I said, I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to mention at the end too. If you're enjoying what we're putting out there, tell somebody, friend, family members, someone you think would like what we're doing. Word of mouth helps get the show out to a bunch of different people faster, quicker, more effectively. And obviously they're going to trust your opinion. So, let someone know, say, hey, I'll listen to this great podcast. It's anywhere you find your podcast. That's great. If you are the type of person that likes to rate or review, you can go to podchaser.com, find us there. You can give us a fat 5-star rating if we deserve that fat 5-star rating. You can also leave a comment too, or a review rather. That's really helpful. Obviously, follow socials, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Literally everything is at W_key_podcast. So we're really easy to find everywhere. Socials are very, very dead right now. I haven't been doing a lot with them. It is what it is. Yeah. So that's my fault, but hopefully we'll get there. I mean, this is content, right? So
we do the big, most important part of it, which is doing the show.
So we appreciate everyone who's listening, everyone who's joined the stream, everyone who's listening to the podcast. It's really something we appreciate so much. I can't really describe it the best. It's hard to explain. We appreciate everything so much. We really, really enjoy the fact that people are enjoying what we're making. I mean, we'd be doing it one way or the other, but it's just glad that we have people along for the ride as well. So, Matt, why don't you hit them with the socials and we'll get out of here.
I mean, my own socials I'm also very quiet on. Need to do it, but I don't. Lazy. It's tough out there. It's doggy dog world. So Main one is just twitch.tv/technique, TECKNEEK. You can check out some streams there. I think actually I'm gonna go live after we're done doing this because I didn't get a chance to stream during the day today, so I might do some night gaming.
Nice.
If you folks want to come over and watch, that's about the only one I use.
Perfect. So yeah, so that's it. Keep an eye out. We release episodes every other week. We do the live streams every other Monday, time permitting. You know, if anything changes that, we try to make an announcement on Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that. But otherwise, every other Monday we do the live show. Every other, at this point, probably Thursday instead of Wednesday, the episode will actually release onto the podcast apps. So keep an eye out for that. Again, we really appreciate everyone hanging out with us, sticking around for the ride.
I will sell out real quick for myself.
Sure.
I'm trying to be nice. So all of November, any money made on my stream, donations, bits, subs, all that stuff, I'm going to donate to Feeding America to help families in times of needs during the holidays. So if you want to come help, be a cool person, either donate to me or I have a link directly at my page where you can donate to Feeding America's website straight up.
Nice. Perfect. Something. Great cause. Love to see it. Go donate tons of money. But yeah, other than that, we're going to call it, like I said, every other Monday for recording. So set your calendars, or for streaming rather, and then every other Thursday for episode releases. Other than that, we're going to get out of here. Always remember,